and thanks for watching. I'm Emily from You Matter, and usually I have the amazing job of talking to your children and young people in school. But obviously at the moment, like everybody else, we are having to find new ways to do things. So we've already been making some videos for them, which you may have seen coming in through school or on our social media or YouTube channel, which I'll share at the end. But this video is for parents and carers. So parenting teenagers is obviously not an easy job at the best of times, and at the moment there are a whole load of new challenges. It's actually a particularly difficult situation for teenagers because they are naturally wired for independence, connection and fun, and all three of those have kind of been pulled out from under their feet. So hopefully the tips in this video will help you to help them. We don't have any control over what's going on in the wider world at the moment, and the future seems quite uncertain, and that lack of control can make children and teenagers feel quite insecure and anxious. So something that they can control is their routine, and if we help them to build structure into their day, it's going to help to send a message of normality to their brains and reduce that anxiety. So really this whole video is about routine, but the basics are really important. So certain things which we would normally do are a good idea to keep up because it's going to signal to our brains that life is okay, things are carrying on sort of normal. So encourage them to get dressed every day because, you know, although they may want to be in their pyjamas, they're not really going to feel that motivated. Encourage them to have regular meals as well because, you know, there might be lots of food around and the temptation might be to just snack randomly, but actually keeping that body clock in a normal cycle is going to really help. Encourage them to have a regular sleep pattern as well. So teenagers naturally want to go to bed a bit later and get up a bit later, and actually that's probably okay at the moment. It's quite nice for them to have a plus in all of this, and maybe not getting up quite so early could be one of them. But it is good to have a regular going to bed and getting up time for the week, which will help them to keep that body clock regular. Keeping up with schoolwork is really important too. I know that some are finding this easier than others, but just keep reminding them that actually if they do get behind and don't do what they need to be doing, they're going to regret it when we get back to school because they're going to have to do the work at some point. As well as that, it's important for them to work something challenging and something fun into their routine every day. So carve out time for that, it's really important. And the something challenging perhaps could link in with the goals that we talk about later on. As well as all of that, really important to encourage them to connect and socialise with their friends, whether it's online or depending on what the guidance is as we move through this, perhaps, you know, outdoors, social distancing, however that looks at the time. Encourage them to connect because it's so important. It's not just about having fun, it's about, you know, they are learning social skills and it's their development of relationships is really important. So this is going to be an easier sell to some young people than others. Some of them might love it and do exercise anyway out of choice. Others, it might be quite hard to get them up and doing something. But it is really important that they do something active for about 20 minutes each day. It really doesn't matter what it is. So try to help them find something which they will enjoy. So there are the obvious, walking, running, swimming in the sea if they want to, and getting outside is really important. But if they don't want to do something like that, there are tons of new videos on YouTube where they can go and learn a new skill or try out some different ways of getting active. So I've put some ideas down the side. These are all from YouTube. So there are workouts made by teenagers, designed for teenagers. There's Joe Wicks, which lots of us may have been using already. He does some really great like home PE. There's stuff like kickboxing. There's you know, regular boxing but without any equipment. There are dances you can learn, yoga, new football skills, which are, you know, shown by professionals. There are loads of videos on there, and actually if they're easily bored, there is no need for them to ever have to do the same video twice. So they could maybe find a new active passion. So encourage them to get on YouTube, help them to find something active, just 20 minutes a day that they will enjoy, and it will make them feel much better, and it will be good for their physical health but also their mental health. Okay, I want to talk about news exposure. The media we consume daily really impacts our thinking, our emotions, and our behaviour. And obviously, the majority of news at the moment is related to the COVID-19 crisis. Too much news takes a toll on our physical, our emotional, and our mental health. We could consume news 24/7 about the pandemic. But actually, we can easily become addicted to the emotive nature of that constant stream of news. And that's true even if it's only on in the background. It can negatively affect our emotions. And that is important to know as parents, because actually, if we've got the news on in the background all the time, even if we're not actively listening to it, and even if our children aren't actively listening to it, it can be affecting them. When we hear alarming news, which a lot of it sadly is, our body releases stress hormones, and that causes problems like anxiety, and it can cause trouble sleeping and more serious problems too. So psychologists recommend that we consume no more than 30 minutes of news every day. That should be enough if we get it from a quality news source to find out what we need to know and keep up with what we need to be kept up with. A lot of the time, teenagers may have loads of notifications popping up on their phones and their devices. So maybe talk to them about disabling some of the notifications. If they are getting lots of news all the time from different sources, maybe look at how you can reduce that. And finally, on news, try to find at least one piece of really good news every day. There is loads of it out there. There's some really lovely news about how nature is winning in this crisis. And there is always good news that we can find, even if it's just something silly that makes you laugh. So challenge them to find you one good piece of news every day. It can feel like teenagers are holding you at arm's length and really pushing all the time for more independence. But actually, that doesn't mean they don't crave your attention as well. So this one is just about carving 20 minutes out of your time each day to give them undivided attention. So some teenagers might be more keen on this idea than others. Some might really love it and want to sit down and tell you about what they're interested in, share their hobbies and thoughts with you, and others not so much. But actually, even if it feels like hitting your head off a brick wall, keep on every day offering them that 20 minutes of undivided attention, because you might find that over time they will start to actually take you up on it. And it might just be sitting with them, maybe if they're really into gaming, just showing interest in the game. If they're really into art, maybe show an interest in that, get them to teach you some of the stuff that they know. The important thing is that you are showing them you're interested in them and that they are important enough for you to give them that 20 minutes of your time. So keep offering it, even if they don't appear to want it, because knowing that you're interested in them is really good for their self-esteem and their confidence. Setting goals and achieving them boosts self-esteem, it boosts confidence, it gives a sense of achievement and satisfaction as well. And also it's a source of ongoing motivation to just keep them pushing forward and through this. So setting a mixture of goals is a really good idea. So encourage them to have long-term goals. And when I say longer term, I only mean perhaps this month I will. So a small longer term goal, something that's easily achieved, and then something that's a bit bigger, a bit more challenging for this month. And then as well as that, have some short-term goals as well. So maybe this week I will. So again, a small goal, easily achievable, and then something a little bit more challenging. They could be anything at all, it doesn't matter. Whatever they fancy doing, which is going to be a goal and a bit of a challenge for them. So it could be a physical challenge. It could be couch to 5k, for example, if they fancy running, and there are apps that can help them do that. It could be reading. They're going to read a certain book or a certain number of books in this time. If they're musical, they could write a new song or a piece of music. They could learn a new dance, use those YouTube videos again, learn a dance or make up their own. They could improve their football skills maybe. Literally anything. It depends what they're into, but just encourage them to set themselves some goals and write them down and then work out how they're going to achieve them, because that will really help them to stay focused, stay positive and not get bored as well. Our last tool or tip is 15-minute worry time. So obviously this is a worrying time that we're living through, but actually low level constant worrying all the time is bad for our mental health. So it's a really good thing to do to encourage them to join you in 15-minute worry time. So what you're doing is you're agreeing to set aside 15 minutes every day to really focus on what is worrying them, what they're feeling, what's stressing them out. So it's going to go into this neat 15-minute box, really focus on it, and then put it back on the shelf until tomorrow. So whatever it is they tell you they're feeling, they can tell you, they can write it down, they could journal if they wanted to. Reassure them that whatever they're feeling is okay. These are very strange times and they might be having quite strange feelings. So they could feel anything. They might be sad, they might feel disappointed, particularly if they were meant to be sitting exams, that kind of thing. They might be worried, they might feel out of control, they might feel frustrated, and all of those are valid feelings. So let them know that, tell them that's okay to feel, and remind them that feelings are temporary. They come and they go. And also that this time we're living in will not last forever. So let them really talk about their feelings, whatever they might be. Don't judge them, just accept them and, validate their feelings, even if you don't particularly get them or don't particularly understand. If you are worried about some of the things they're sharing and you think they might need some extra help, then you can encourage them to reach out. There are lots of different agencies out there who can help them. And you can find those on the gov.je website, or you could actually encourage them to talk to Childline as well, because they might just want to talk to someone who's totally unconnected to them, and it's free and it's confidential, and that can really help them. So you could encourage them to do that, and that's on 0800 1111. But talking about it and then putting it away is a really useful tool and actually a good skill for life. You might also find that actually they tell you they are feeling totally okay, and that's okay too. So, take them at their word. If they feel okay, that's okay. That's something to be celebrated. So keep on offering the 15 minutes worry time every day. But actually, if they want to talk about positive feelings, then great, talk about positive feelings. So don't kind of, assume there's always going to be difficult feelings, because, there might not be. They might be okay. All right, well, thank you very much for listening. I hope that's been helpful. Please do follow us on social media and follow our YouTube channel for more updates, more things that we're doing. And just remember, we cannot get it all done and we will not get it all right as parents and carers. This is a hard time. Just show teenagers and children love and understanding and patience, and that will go a really, really long way. We're all doing our best. So thank you and hang in there.